I think we're live.
We are live.
Well, soon for
Yay! Thank Christ for that. I do apologise about that, folks. It got a bit tasty for a little while. Right, and I forgot to put the escape up.
Yeah. Every week.
Right, it's been a bit of a. What the hell was? Janie, what did you call your family document? Why can't I find that?
It's literally called Ruby's Family.
Yeah, that's not showing up on my thing.
You want me to link it again?
Yeah. Why?
We apologise for this inconvenience.
Yeah, I totally know what I'm
Shout
doing.
out.
Anyway, right, we'll get on with it. Right, and then you can submit. Right, cool. So, welcome to Heavyweight Game. You'll be shocked to find that we play Dungeons and Dragons most nights. We're bringing in some other stuff in the next couple of weeks as well, so that's going to be cool as fudge. Right, so welcome to the channel. It is Tuesday. It is time for Fables Among Titans. This is session 67. So close to the funny number. Don't know what this funny number is. But...
So close.
Gonna be 68 next week. I'm so excited.
Is that what your old one? So, if you wish to follow us on social media, we are on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Just type in Heavyweight Gaming or follow the links in chat and you'll be able to find us. It's usually me just waffling about what we've got coming up and what I've been writing about and other folks are writing about, blah, 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 blah. It's really cool. It's super interesting. Followers. If you want to join us on our Discord, please do. The button's beneath the stream and also a link will probably pop up in the chat. Join the Discord, tell your pals about it, come and have some nerdy hangouts and talks and we share artwork and stories of what we've played and not played and try and guess what's going to happen in 17 sessions, etc. It's cool, and if you're into the homebrew type stuff, then we'll more than welcome you in and talk absolute rubbish with you. And if you want to go and see the other 3,000 hours of D&D and stories and one-shots that we've done, please jump on the YouTube. Don't worry about subscribing and all that, but if you do it, it's much appreciated. But it is there for you to follow along and read and watch and listen and cry and pull your eyes out.
Bear in mind that 3,000 hours covers about 2 hours of in-game time.
Funny story, the Monday lot last night were like, we spent 2 sessions in the same day. I was like, you know nothing.
You know nothing.
You know nothing.
You know nothing.
It was wonderful. Right.
Everyone just went into their own special little hell for a couple of seconds there.
Oh, I know what document I need.
Sponsors
9
of...
sessions, I want to say, for one
It
day.
was a long time. It was a couple of months, wasn't it?
Yeah, a quarter of the year, some might say.
So yeah, we got some sponsors because we're super lucky and we're very, very grateful that they're willing to put their name on our channel and show. So Loki Battle Mats, if you haven't heard of them, you probably should have. Go check them out. Their website's in the link. Go to Loki Battle Mats. Every time they throw a Kickstarter up, it's super successful. They create giant books of maps that you just open up and you've got castles and tundras and mountains and dungeons, sewers, forests, magic circles, etc. Excuse me. They've done towns and taverns, they've done wilderness, they're currently doing a castles and caverns. Before that they did a sci-fi one with spaceships and space stations and planets and stuff, which again, every one of them immediately funded because they're just really good at what they do. So go check them out, send them a lot of love, and we use them in pretty much all our sessions and campaigns bar one. They are really, really, really good at what they do. Chaotic Grey has quickly become my little guilty pleasure. I love chibi artwork, and as you can see the little slideshow of tokens cracking off right next to the Sunscape logo, they are the personalised tokens for this lovely bunch of coconuts. But if you go to Roll20 Marketplace, put in Coyote Grey, you'll find all the Chibi Pack tokens that he's done. He's even done a Cyberpunk one, which I got immediately, and funnily enough, used in my Cyberpunk game. But yeah, the tokens are super cool, and there's so much in there that you can use to create your little worlds on your virtual tabletops and such. Just to jump back to Loki Battle Mats, if you do play digitally like we do, like Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Foundry, etc., you can use their maps as well. So, yes. So go check out Loki Battle Mats. Go check out Coyote Grey. Sunscape are not a sponsor, however, they provide epic sound for epic games. Go check them out. If you play at home, round the table, and you've got a Bluetooth device, a PC, a laptop, a phone, or whatever, someone doing karaoke, you can use Sunscape to get a ambient sound, Dragonfire, Happy Taverns, Magical Forests, that sort of thing. Really, really good. It's amazing to have it, and really, really does make the difference when you're playing. If you're playing online like we do, you log in, your team, your players, your party, whatever you want to call them, they get a web app, they download the web app, you play the music, it goes through the web app and they have it in their living room, kitchens, dungeons, cellars, rooftops, wherever they seem to play. Yes, I am doing the overlay while doing this. Mother bloody kipper. Right. Ashana! She's a glass crafter. And she normally streams on a Tuesday. There's a possibility she isn't streaming tonight because she's on a call with me after this session.
No, she's live now.
Oh, right, cool. She's live.
now,
I'll
yeah.
be kicking her off at about 11. So, we'll see how that goes. Go check out Ashana. She's on Twitter. Go to Instagram to see all the glass crafting. She's done loads of miniatures, World of Warcraft, like D&D type stuff, or just little animals, little sea turtles and stuff. They're super cool. It's a real chilled stream if you ever get to watch it. And just show her a lot of love if you do go watch it. She's super, 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 super cool. And Roughworks Creative. Those of you that are having a glass of wine and watching a mushy movie, just go over to Roughworks on Facebook, look at the photos, and it'll definitely finish the evening for you. I do it every Tuesday and Wednesday, and sometimes a Sunday afternoon. So, go check out Roughworks Creative. Leatherwork and woodwork, unbelievable, blood, sweat and tears. A very, very talented crafter who never shouts about himself and really should. Go check him out, and if you do go check out his stuff, just throw random comments at him, and he will. Call him Pedro, he loves that. What's that? Is that it for the sponsors? I believe. So, we've got Tasha's Heavier Crockpot of Bits and Bops. Jeannie's having a meltdown.
Yeah, it's Sean's fault. Sorry, I'm
Sean's
trying to
fault.
send in
It's all
memes.
Sean's fault.
I'm sorry, I made a
Sending
meme.
memes to the group chat.
So, if you
Go on Discord.
if you go to DM's Guild, while I go look at this.
Yeah.
All right.
It is a good one, to be fair.
Okay.
It's looking good.
Don't worry, I've put it in both the Fables Among Titans chat and the Glory's Not Enough chat.
Go on,
So
Discord,
yeah, we'll
we'll
see.
If you go to DM's Guild and you look up for Tasha's Heavier Crockpot of Bits and Bobs, it was the source material that a lot of our lovely nerdy friends did artwork for, wrote for, and released over a year ago now. 200 copies of it sold. It's 81 pages. You've got subclass spells, artwork, everything you nerds need. There's 80 new spells in there. Ridiculous. And more recently, last weekend in fact, the Frank and Kenzie's
I've
Traders.
called it again. Trade Spoke is what I've called it. Oh my
Frank
god.
and Kenzie's Traders Compendium
Compendium.
has just been released as well, so a link will be popping up for that, hopefully. But yeah, go check that out. That is absolutely rammed with all the cool stuff that you always end up taking thieves tools or jewel crafting tools or leatherworking, but you never do out with it in your games. This gives you a reason to do stuff with it. It gives you some cool little sub features to throw into your character, and there's a few subclasses at the back.
Also, go look at the
Heavyweight
Heavyweight Guild because it's amazing.
The Heavyweight Guild is very nice and very heartwarming, and a much thanks from Arcane for writing it and such. It is very nice. But yeah, go check it out. It's super, super cool, and we hope to sell more than we did for Tasha's Crockpot. That does lead us into say we are going to be pushing to get our Kickstarter ready for this year, which will be on the nation of Vitoria, a land within the world of Colossus. There is hundreds of pages already written. There are plans for pledges and stretch goals. It is ridiculous. We've got a call on Saturday to start finalising some stuff. When we've got a few ideas together, we will post them around our various social medias and Discords and such, so you can see what we're planning. And the plan is, as we go along, I'll be streaming some sessions where we're doing a bit of writing, or me and Arcane and the team are talking, and we'll get Eldritch involved, and Beef Stew. He loves being called Beef Stew. Or I love calling Beef Stew. I can never remember which one. But yeah, so we'll do some streaming about the Kickstarter and its progress as well. So that's cool. So yeah, that's super cool. Down to bits. That's it. Yeah, cool bits. All right. If you want to donate bits to these lot, so they get rerolls, it's 200 bits. Give them 200 bits to get a reroll. If you feel sorry for them, monkey face. Donate 200 bits / cheers to give the party a reroll. They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws. They don't roll over to the following week, and there is no longer a cap. So go nuts. If you want to throw hundreds of thousands and millions of bits at these lot to get rerolls, do it. It will pay for my Greg's addiction. If you want to throw in 500 bits, then I get a reroll. And I will use it on pretty much anything I want, really. So yes, I think that's it. Time to say goodbye. I mean...
Oh.
Oh, I might actually need to recap, to be fair, because it's been a while.
Right.
We ended up in a house. That's your recap.
We don't talk about anything before that.
Yep.
Sapphire couldn't fit in the house.
Poor Sapphire in a hobbit hole.
I'm 6'6". I'm not built for this.
So, as you hear the sounds of cows and sheep and
Burps.
beddies, you have finally come back together after... Oh, thank you, Mnemonics. I think Heavy should get a reroll for the resub. I'm not sure that's how that works. That's just adding technicalities in and all sorts there, Mnemonics. What was I going to say? Yeah, you finally got back together. You finished your fight in this long-forgotten, beneath the sands temple of summer fae-esque flavourings. You fought... Oh, you didn't actually fight against the Darklings. Most of them were a sacrifice for bloody reasons. But you did fight one of the Order of the Pale, a demonic paladin of the True, and destroyed them. You did go into a blood dream to defend Zerin while she dealt with whatever was going on in there, and killed the Water Crow, releasing the curse that had originally created the Darklings to wander said blood dream, where Zerin Summerbreeze has said she will keep the warding around the dream until something can be thought of to be done with the curse, really.
There might have been a mind flayer, who can remember?
I had a squiddy face. You
I
said...
was about to say almost, not Ruby. That was...
The mentor and trainer of Xandria and Kesfiel and Summerbreeze passed in the fight. They were disintegrated. Their soul was sent to the sands in a lovely night of drinking and merriment and saying goodbyes. But also the loss of Owlbearer, who was assassinated by what appears to be Osra, your travelling cleric friend. Osra's sister was responsible for the death of Owlbearer. Owlbearer's spirit headed north. There were words for Osra to find him in the Pride Mountains, as is the tradition of the Boyshall, the children of the mountain. The sister managed to teleport away using a spell called Recall, and Osra was unable to counter it. Owlbearers also said goodbye to, along with Sahar. Come the morning, Ruby put a very compelling we're off home now speech together. And the party went via Toodles, went via Malika, the Archfey of Summer, then to Toodles, the Archfey of Autumn, why not, and then on to the Towan Highlands. A wonderful stretching scene of rolling hills, mountains, a long beach coast. Heading north, you can go further into the Pride Mountains. Heading south, you would find the open seas and a short stretch of water across the northern coast of Victoria. The Towan Highlands are as big as most places you've been, from a geographical perspective, but it is a land of gnomes and halflings. Their homes are within the ground, dug into the hills. Some of them are atop of the hills. There are sheep pens and cows and pigs and chickens and all manner of farm creature wandering around, being herded around. There are dogs obeying the whistles of their family, friends, boss for the day. It is very much a ye olde community feel. On arriving there, as I re-get my link, where did you send me it, Ruby?
I've sent it in both the Zoom and the Messenger.
Oh, there is, I can't see a messenger. Something else. Let's move back to me. I don't
Oh,
have a
also,
messenger.
please can you turn Sirenscape down a little bit? Mobonic says it's a little bit loud.
Yes, I can. And the zoom. There we go. There we go. Why can't I find that? What the... Right, anyway. Going into Ruby's home. It's been quite a while since you were there, Ruby. Your travelling family party have managed to meet your mum, Megan Irwin, a stout halfling lady with curly dark hair and very much a everyone's getting fattened up before they leave the house mentality, and you getting a wash, you scruffy little mare. Dad, ye old Dave, good, I love Dave. In his youth, quite strapping, chilled out at the head of the table, or ish, the table's a little bit wonky, but it's sat near the cooking area to keep, young'uns running into it, even though you're all big enough and old enough to burn yourselves. But Dad is just naturally, reflexively sat there just in case one of you
never know with
probably
Jimmy.
the cat or Jimmy, heads towards the cooking pot. On Jimmy, Big Jimmy has made himself very present and was left finishing off cooking the brews and such, has taken a bit of a shine, if that's what folks want to call it, at Xandria Summer Breeze, and is quite fond of showing how big he is for a halfling. Your older sister Pearl brought the baby round and passed it, I believe. Dad has the baby at the minute, or does Ruby have the baby? Oh, you're in the bath.
No, Ruby had the baby taken off her.
And you were dunked in a bath.
Yeah.
Kess is currently getting dressed by Mama Ruby.
Yeah.
You'll catch cold.
He's dressed for Ravenholm in the squalling rain, so he should be, in theory, okay, but that
He didn't
doesn't
change
mean...
when we went back to the desert.
Yeah, he took his coat off, put it back on.
You don't feel the benefit otherwise.
Exactly. Look, I'm from the West Coast. I know the importance of big coat.
Big coat.
Big coat.
I don't own a big coat, but so you, I think we left it. It's been a couple of weeks and stuff's happened. But Ruby's younger brother had brought in some smaller animals just to like run around the bath while you were getting a wesh, And then he went off to his room. Kesfion was in the room getting clothes thrown at him and just held against him. There's probably a bit of a awkward. These are too short but really baggy on Kesfion. You have to wear them. Where's the ginger one? He's already gone. Alright. That's the most dad thing you've ever said. I'll take that as an okay. So around the table you've got Sapphire, Ari, Xandria from you lot, and Ozra. Unfortunately, Sasha she's not with us for a short while, so I will Jaeger Sasha for now. The family is Dave the dad, Big Jimmy, Kai the dog, Pearl, I hate you Ruby, Pearl the elder sister, Ruby herself, and the younger brother is in his room.
Ruby's in the tub.
Yeah, Ruby's in the tub.
Yeah, sorry, Ruby's in the tub. Jesus Christ, there's a lot. Halflings, a lot of, just a lot of shit going on. So, a meal is being made. We will start with Kess in the bedroom with Mama. She's holding you up like loads of Jimmy's clothes, which, for a halfling, he's probably the biggest halfling you've seen. He is a strapping 3 foot, 4 foot, 1 foot, 2 foot 6 halfling. And
he's got a couple of inches on the other halflings.
Yeah. And he's got 4 arms like Sapphire. It looks like a Popeye halfling. So, the clothes are, you quite comfortably put them on, but they're probably going to be a bit of a crop top if you put these on. But Mama Bear doesn't care. So, how'd you meet Ruby? Where'd you meet Ruby? I hope she's been looking after you and you've been looking after her. She's just pinning them, holding them to your shoulders.
Kess knows better than to argue with a mother.
Yeah. Fair.
You've met Hez. That's not a woman. You say anything. You just...
Next party, Megan and Zarin.
That's it.
Oh my god.
It's just mums on tour.
Right, everything
That
fixed
would-
5 minutes.
Sort all of Colossus. They just
medication for that.
it would have been fixed by now.
Fancy on Megan.
If we met her in Ravenholm, and we've been traveling with her for a couple of months now.
You never thought to get her washed?
He looks at her as if to say, we try.
Well, there's no good trying, is it? What's the use of having those two things on your hip if you can't force her into the bath? Just nods towards your swords like it's a, everyday comment to threaten somebody to get in a bath. Your hair looks alright.
I'm happy to have a bath
It's natural.
and to brush it.
Alright. Well, you're too tall. None of these are going to fit you. But I can clean those up right for you and just start
Oh.
tugging at your your leather and your buckles on your armour and stuff. Give them here, I'll get them clean. Smells
You'll-
sandy.
we were in the desert before we came here.
There's a brief pause where Megan's like, no desert round here. Just like, he's gone mad. Oh yeah, the desert, yeah. Turn around.
And you'll kind of pass.
And she will continue to strip you of what she believes is dirty and needs washing.
I mean, I feel like he probably, like he's just come from home. If anything, he's probably the tidiest he's been in months.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear no roleplay where you were stopping. You had a fight, killed a load of dead things, did an all-nighter getting pissed, and then cleaned Ruby.
I mean,
Well, plotted Ruby's there. Give her a bit of
Yeah.
a wash. So accept it. Accept it, Kesper.
oh, he's still not going to argue because he's met Ruby. He's also encountered his own mother and sister before. He knows you don't. There's people you don't argue with. Mums and sisters are 1000% at the top of that list.
The biggest difference you notice is when you are aiding one another in the tribe. There's a smoothness to helping each other with their armor on and off and getting
Yeah.
ready for stuff.
No, this is just getting hauled.
This is like just you're a hindrance to Megan right
Yeah.
now. It's like you're slowing me down. Get out of the close. But yeah, so and that will continue until you so you got
She's
flushed
at
out.
peace.
So, back in the dining room, Big Jimmy is just stirring the pot, making the brews and stuff, and making the tea, and keeping an eye on the food as he's been instructed to. Every now and then he just looks over at Xandria with a broad smile and a wink, and then he carries back on. Pearl notices, just shakes her head, and then babies with Dave. I can't believe I'm playing D&D. I got fucking Dave and Big Jimmy side of the room. It's fucking brilliant.
That's
I love
playing
it.
with Genie.
None of this Legolas Greenleaf. How are you? I'm Dave. That's Big Jim.
Yeah, you said
I love it,
you gave
Ruth.
me the halflings.
Oh yeah, it's good. I love it. It's loving it. Dave's just rolling his fingers on the table, just looking around the place. Pearl's got Bobby and doing motherly things with, well, it's a few months old now, but it's still pretty fresh looking baby halfling, which it's got to be like a foot long. It's ridiculous. I just realised this thing is a dot. But yeah, what are you lot doing or not doing? Are you just enjoying the wisdom of Jimmy, or like
The wisdom of That's
Sapphire's just sitting there, like all crouched up,
I mean, you are
taking,
full
accepting drink and food as much as he can.
parent
just
at a
like,
parents' evening
in the little chairs.
at a nursery school. Oh, take a seat, Mr. Sapphire. Are you joking?
Do you have a human-sized chair,
Yeah.
please?
So while you're sat there, like just
I guarantee at some point David's asked you what they fed you to make you grow like that.
you stood,
Oh, would it-
you stood
would
in
it be
shit
really
every night, lad.
Just like halflings, the normal.
They fed you halflings.
It's a joke. Sapphire like slowly says.
You just stay and go, ha 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 ha! It's a good one. Just carry on. Dave.
Oh, I love this family.
Dave looks at Jimmy. It's not funny.
Boy's never been right.
While he's doing that, what are y'all doing here?
I'm sorry, was that Airy asking or was that Dave
That's what I
asking?
was like. I
Because
was
they
like, which one was
sound-
it?
The
Well,
inclination
every
of that
NPC
question
you've met in
was.
Colossus could have been Hearty. All right, so let's just go. Let's just assume until 9:30 it's Dave. Dave will address the three of you in there, unlike Mama Bear who's unaddressing you all. You know, just looks at you all. So why are you here? Ruby left and has now come back with very different. What is the reason you're here? He just seems to be a little bit curious. He's not like wielding a butter knife or anything.
To be fair, he did just come home from work to find.
Well, we're in the middle of saving the world, and Ruby wanted to come visit to make sure everyone was okay, because my home got destroyed, and Ari's home's not doing too great, and Xandria and Kess's home wasn't great, although we helped there, and she was worried about you all, so we're here to look after you. I'll just say you're okay before we go off on our merry way.
You see Jimmy look at Dave, Dave look at Pearl, Pearl look at Dave, back at Jimmy, Jimmy across to Pearl. Just all look at each other for a moment, then Dave goes, "It's nice to see she's found drinking buddies."
She's good. We like her.
I'm assuming you're staying for supper? Well, you better be. Megan will kick off if you leave.
Would hate to get on the wrong side of Megan. Put it that way.
What do we all? Last time I got on the wrong side of Megan, we ended up with the wee man. And just nods up towards the bar. None of you have met the wee man. He went straight to Ruby. You're a quiet bunch, aren't you?
Pestering awkward.
Literally, it's just the awkward silence. Xandria does not know how to engage with it. It's like...
I just died 3 days ago.
Ariel probably like assess the fact that it's the awkward silence going on and probably like start asking about like the farm and about what they do and like just try and make small talk as best he can, knowing that he's sat with Xandria. Xandria, Sapphire and Ultra.
Jesus.
Sapphire says too much and Xandria doesn't speak, so...
Osra gets up and walks out the door
He never comes back.
in a very distracted way. Yeah, and exit. There you go. Thanks for joining us, Sasha, and good luck with you.
Farewell, Sasha.
Yeah, and Osra just potters out. She alright? Says Dave.
You've clarified this, Odie, it's okay.
Jade can't see me looking at her, but I'm looking at Jade.
I don't know, you're below me, so...
Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Shorty.
Ari will reply and just be like, she'll be fine. She's had a very long day.
She's not the only one. Shoulders are killing me. So you, are you a king or something?
Me?
Well, look at you.
I mean, also look at the fact that I'm covered in blood. Not necessarily. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. We've just established this. Also, Ari slept outside. Remember?
Oh, well, actually,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, Ari might look.
You lot turned up
Ari
to Ari.
did pass out drunk.
Absolutely,
Ari hasn't.
yeah. And you went straight from
Ari's
hangover
looking like
to
the
tower.
roughest he's ever probably looked.
And you still on a farm. Like,
Yeah.
so your little frilly shirt still is a thing. Kings can be covered in whatever they want to be.
I think if Ari was a king, then that would truly be a doomed kingdom.
Friend of yours?
not wrong. She's not wrong.
No.
We've had a long couple of days, and it's nice to just have some kind of normality.
I'll be honest, you all look like you've died. It's not a
Only
smile
one of
that's
us.
in you.
Some of us have died, so.
You get the Pearl, Dave, Jimmy, like trio of luck again. Even Baby this time just pokes its head up. The fuck is that?
We, I guess, against our better judgment, are kind of adventurers at this point. So we've been through some stuff. Sapphire thinks better of swearing in front of these people.
Okay, I understand.
Sapphire has never been on a farm.
In a previous life, when he was an actual cat.
Farms are where the swears were invented.
Jimmy, you know what to do. Jimmy just stops stirring the stew pot, and he's like, yes! And he goes over to the cupboard, and he opens this cupboard, and he even pulls out a little stool so he can get up to the higher up cupboard, and he pulls out a cask, and he's just like, yeah! Quite, I say easily. Just puts his cask down, gets a little tap, and he's arranging it on the counter. Oh, are we? Yeah, just dead excited at his dad. Yep, they look like they need it. Right, I'll be back. And Big Jimmy just disappears up the back area corridor where Ruby, Megan, Kesfion have now apparently disappeared, never to be seen again. You're all gonna have a drink. You all look like you need it. And we're gonna forget your hard day's work, or several days' work. So that's all it is. It's just work. You get up in the morning and you carry on working. And you just got 2 re-rolls for that hard work. So well done.
Thank you, Ree.
Thanks, Ree.
Thank you.
Baby cheers. Big Jimmy comes back and he's just got, like, he's not, he could have just put his fingers through each of the handles and carried them like a chuffing glass collector. But no, not Big Jimmy. He's bear rugging as many halfling tankards as he possibly can. All made out of wood, and he brings them in and he just sort of half chest shoulders them onto the counter around the barrel. And he...
Carefully with the plates.
Yeah, Mum's not here and beer's on the thing, so Jimmy's a little bit overexcited. And
Overzealous.
he's put his stuff on. Pearl's immediately up, passing Baby to Dave, going to catch all the stuff Jimmy knocks off while he's putting his tankers on there, getting really excited. Keg gets open. There must be 15 of varying sizes of these halfling mugs. Some of them are cups, some are actual tankards. He's basically gone into somewhere and just scooped, and he's put them all on there, and he's just filling them all. There's more cups than there is people, but he's filling them all, and he's just putting them on the side and that. And there's this frothy ale coming out of it. It's got it's real real pale brown, and the froth looks creamy rather than just foam. And he's putting it out on the side and that. Right, we're all gonna drink. We'll have one without, and he looks up the thing. Without your mother, Jimmy. Jimmy stands there like, so. He looks elated that he's getting to have a freebie, basically. And he picks the biggest tankard, obviously. This one's mine, just says to Xandria. Dead proud of himself. And, right, pass them out and you'll get a cup of this ale in front of you. Stream is looking extra crisp at 1080. I totally planned that. I think OBS is actually doing it for me, so I'll take that. They all get passed out to you with this. It's got not a honey, but it's still got that sweet aroma, like if you would smell honey or syrup about it. Right, all take a swig, and he raises his cup. They all swigging?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They all take a swig. Pearl dips her finger and just lets Babby have a little suckle, because that's how we do it up north.
That is true. Little bit of whiskey under the gum.
Yeah.
Got two
Look at
for
that
it.
Teething problems.
Yeah, you got two problems. No, why'd you ask? Just Babby's an alky. We're trying to wean her off.
Thank you, Uli.
Thanks, Uli.
Debbie, cheers again.
Thank you.
And you all have an ale. Jimmy just smashes his tankard down and just stares at Xandria while he goes, first one to finish, and just stands resting. And you can see him trying to position himself on this like against the counter. Dave is shaking his head, embarrassed that his child is actually present. So does Dave.
I just want to leave.
When Ruby and that come back, we'll eat, we'll talk, and we'll forget about last few days' work. It's just hard graft, more hard graft ahead. Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Ruby, in the bathtub with all the little rodents and creatures rushing around you.
Gonna get assassinated.
Dwarf.
I forgot if that
Oh,
dwarf,
thinks
if
you're a
that
brother.
dwarf shows up, it will be his mistake.
Dwarf's gonna be like, you look like your brother. So oh jeez, poor soul taker. And all the squirrels and the mice and stuff, the field mice and that are just running around. They're now in the like bathroom area. You're in the tub. You know, you've been washed before. Like it's not a new experience, but it is relaxing. The water is almost perfect. You probably now and then just wave your hand and some like petals or leaves or vines will just appear and just freshen up the place a little bit. Just druid crafting on reflex rather than planned anything. In the desert, you were obviously very what's the word? Very empathic about what you couldn't see back home, and felt a desire to get towards it. Seeing the family rushing around, you are. Well, Jeannie is at her own free will to be elated, relaxed, worried, chilled, all the above in the same 30 seconds. But it does appear to be peaceful and home as you remember it, and they're acting as if you've just been on a camping trip. And they're, as you expected, quite welcoming of your ridiculous looking friends.
So after a moment, Ruby will look at whichever animal is closest and say quietly, so what's really been going on then?
Ah, you fucking druids. Give me a moment, I'll tell you. In my well-practiced squirrel voice.
Oh no.
Does the squirrel come from north?
It turns out it's a cousin of Jeremiah's.
Makes sense.
Right, hang on. I needed to get some.
It's a funny family tree, that one.
It's Toa. What happens in Toa stays in Toa. It's actually, the squirrel's just a mouse with a massive tail. That's all it is. Right, where are you, Toa? Let me get my toe and stuff. Love to. Cool. No, it's not what it is. And that'll do for now. Yeah, that's cool. Right. What are you talking to the squirrel? Right, okay.
I don't know why this takes you by surprise every time. You know the first thing Ruby's going to do is going to talk to the grass and talk to a squirrel.
Yeah.
I honestly thought we
Surprised
were
when I
just
talked to
gonna
the
get
rats
washed
and
and
the
go speak
dogs.
to family, but
You were surprised when I spoke to the trees in the forest.
it's
You
yeah,
were surprised when I decided to grow a forest.
that was pretty cool though, and I didn't have to do a voice for that. All right, love.
Yes. Love it.
How's the bathwater? Warm enough for you?
Olive? Come on, what have I missed?
Well, Robert's getting pretty good at their talking to us without talking to us, if you know what I mean.
Hey, he's always been good at that, hasn't he? He listens.
Jimmy's a bit of a whammer, but
Well, yeah, I said what's new though. He's always been a whammer.
he's trying to have a nut collecting competition with our 4 squirrels. It's a bit weird, although I think Robert's saying he will.
Yeah, that sounds like a setup.
I mean, he's adamant he's going to beat us.
You can't let him go too long without getting distracted, because otherwise he starts doing shit.
Well, don't get me wrong, he shifted a fair amount of logging for me and my pals. And just kind of nods at the mouse and the cricket walking up a bar.
But there's nothing. Is there places you don't go anymore? Bad things is coming in everywhere I go.
Bad things. Been a bit of an heavy rain round here, but not bad.
No blight.
Nah, not round here. Not that I've seen. Although I go too far. It's pretty warm round here. Besides, collecting nuts is easy when Robert's got Jimmy doing it. Apparently it's part of his training. I mean, me and lads are loving it.
Ruby laughs along with them, but she pushes like there's no rumours, nowhere other creatures won't go, no fear.
Not apart from the norm. Like we don't go near the Kelpie Grove. Stay away from that Nell's Fingers. Not good for us. Well, the squirrel Tom kicks off down there. Dead. My nuts are gone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know. No fiends.
What's a fiend? Like Jimmy?
Like Jimmy if he couldn't care about people anymore.
There's a few of the kids been stomping on the ants and stuff, but they're just learning, aren't they?
Alright. No one's let anyone starve to death, have they? Which she says almost as a joke.
Yeah. The squirrel's halfway through going there, you know you're in the land of halflets.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Nah, plenty of nuts for everyone. Except the ones we had from Jimmy. You alright, Druid?
There's things coming from other places, and they bring blight, and they bring ruin and death, and I need to know there's nothing here.
Well, you're a lot pretty good at dealing with the blight. You don't get many bad harvests. Bad harvests. Is that a word? Is that a word? Cricket nods.
I mean, like Gorta. Or I desperately refer back to Patreon because
the squirrel reacts as you'd expect of like, oh, we don't speak the forbidden name. What coming here? It's not good.
I've not heard yet of anything coming for Tower, but they and Ravenholm and the desert and even the mountains, they've all
the big hills.
the big hills, yeah. But there's nothing. Even the rats, there's nowhere they won't go anymore. There's no big folk that you won't go near anymore. Other than the usual dickheads, you know.
There's more of the tribes are rocking up and around from the forest, the gnomes and that. Spending a lot more time together, which is nice. Sharing nuts.
But the forests.
Well, they don't know, they're alright, they're quiet.
Alright. Alright. Now Rue will actually start just a tiny bit.
Just that one bit of mud off her face, gone, that's enough.
Just like, no, just like the shoulders like relax by just like a degree.
Oh, okay. A millimetre.
It's like a millimetre. Like a gram of tension. eases out of Ruby's mind, but not yet. But she knows that if the wildlife isn't on the run, it's not bad yet. So Ruby will put in the minimum amount of effort to clean herself that will avoid a sick ear.
Mama Bear will be the judge of that. So, and then you talk to any of the other creatures, or you let them go?
Just small talk.
Just small talk. How's your dad? So, Kesvion,
Yep.
it quickly becomes obvious that none of these clothes are going to fit you. She's wrapped everything off you, took your armour off you. Your armour has been put on Jimmy's bed. Your clothes she's just bundled up in her arms. Wait here. Don't be walking around the house naked. And she just leaves you in Jimmy's room. She walks into the bathroom where Ruby is and can see that Ruby's making an effort at least. I'm watching you, girl. Behind the ears. Side of nose. Armpits. Everything.
Ruby literally just dunks herself.
Yeah.
Slides under the water completely.
And then she notices that the place is full of animals. Robert! Robert! Just hear a thud somewhere in the distance. Yeah, you will close that door. And she pulls out another wooden bowl that is a smaller version of the tub you're in. Starts filling it with water from the various containers nearby. That is obviously there's a bit of magic in the Towan Highlands. She fills it up with water and she just starts essentially beating Kesvion's clothing to death in this water. And you now see that the water changes colour just because of the amount of time in the desert and such, and it is just, you're never ever clean when you're an adventurer. But she goes about cleaning clothes. Looks back, waiting for you to resurface. You're underwater, you can just hear this as she's beating the gloves. You could, to be fair, you could probably hold your breath for about 6 minutes being a chuffing. Or turn into a fish.
Ruby does debate for a moment just turning into a fish for a bit, but it seems unlikely that will go well for her, especially since she'd be breathing soap. So
you're a weird magical druid fish, you do you.
So Ruby will resurface.
As you resurface, she just stares at you for a little bit and tilts her head with a smile, and she comes to back here and she just starts picking up bone comb and stuff, and she starts running it through your hair. She gets 4 millimeters in. She's like, right, she starts rolling her sleeves up on a tunic. Gonna be here for a while, young'un. And you hear the familiar stool pulled up as your mum's behind, and she starts, essentially washing your hair on an industrial level because you've just slept in a bird's face for 6 months.
Ruby, with that ever-existent spark of mischief, will actually whisper to one of the mice, and we'll get a bit of Disney princess going. The mice will start a little bit of untangling of the knots.
So as your mother is sorting your hair and the mouse walks over, just looks up at the mum and goes, "Snods," and just starts unknotting a bit of your hair at the bottom. Squirrels on the other side rolling a cig. You alright, Mama Bear?
I look like Barber.
Yeah. I don't cut hair. So yeah, and that will go about. And there's a few moments where it is quiet. And you just hear your mum and she's humming. Probably not a song, but you're always used to her humming, whether she's cooking or cleaning or slapping Jimmy or out in the yard or helping Dad on wherever and she's just humming away. And then after a short time passes, she'll just stop. So, you're home. There's less energy now, there's less hostess energy and more mum talking to daughter.
I'm home for a minute. I don't think we'll be able to stay long.
Oh, okay. Well, it's your choice. runs
Well,
a hand through your
everything's-
hair.
Everything's gone wrong. And if I leave them alone to fix it, they'll be dead by tomorrow lunchtime.
Well, especially where they dress. You must remind me, I've left your friend with his tush out in Jimmy's room.
I he's a big lad, he can fend for himself.
Well, I don't judge. He's got nice swords.
Like, why would you try dressing someone who can't fit in the house in Jimmy's clothes?
Well, the other one is bigger than a human cat. And he ain't going to touch, the prince or whatever he is. And the other one's got a bit of a scowl on her face. And the scary lady.
Oh, she's not scary, she's alright. She's just an odd kind of cleric.
They usually are.
Yeah,
So how long we got you for?
see what the others say. See if we can remember how.
What's gone wrong? Tell your mum. And she carries on going through.
I'll do a lot of it when we're all together because so much has happened, but there's one country completely full of demons. One where at least one major landmark is full of demons. Your demons threatening to take over another one up in the mountains. We've got
It's a lot of
people from other
demons.
It is a lot of it. It's too many demons, to be perfectly honest with you. It's far too many demons, and all in the wrong place.
Well, is there a right place for such creatures?
Their own dimension, preferably, minding their own business.
Okay. Well, if you want to keep it to yourself and...
No,
So-
I like it. I can't do it more than once. And the others will ask as well. I'll do it. I'll tell everyone at the same time.
If it's really that bad, you don't have to go, and your friends can stay. We'll just build an extension for them. We'll get Jimmy to do it, he'll love that.
You can't. You can't not go back and help if there's people that need the help.
Doesn't mean you can't rest for a little bit.
Or a little bit of just we'll sometime we'll see what time we have. But rest, yes. But not at the
Alright.
expense of others.
Well, why don't we sing together while we finish your hair? Well, fair to block that shit, because I ain't singing.
Damn it!
I was gonna say Ruby's
Ah.
response to
I was
that
gonna
is,
say, like, you just prompting yourself there.
do
when
you,
you try
do
and
you
prompt
really
me
want
to
to,
sing,
do you
and
really
I'm
want to
like,
have to reglaze the window?
Man,
In
I
a
thought
high
we had
fantasy
it.
world.
AD and I have been like perfecting this duet.
Yeah. Every night for fucking practice. We say perfecting. So while you are finishing your lovely bath with Mama Bear, you can sing some childhood songs together and just enjoy the moment. Back in the room.
Wheels on the bus.
Go round.
It's universal. What can I
yeah.
say?
I mean, this is Halfling country. There probably is actually a ballad about.
Oh,
how
you
when
can't
the
push your
fuck-
granny off the bus.
Oh,
you
you
can't
can't
push your
push
granny off the bus.
Yeah, there's that one, but there's also a ballad about when the you accidentally leave your last piece of bread in the fire too long and you have burnt toast, and that's not even like a kiddie one. That's genuine halfling like
Heartbreak.
heartbreak right there.
Sorry, Eddie, go on.
Yeah,
You
just
started
hear-
this with your magic carpet tassels.
You yeah, fair. You hear a wonderful duet coming from somewhere down the hallway. Could be Kess doing a duet by himself, or it could be Ruby and Mama Bear. Who knows? You very obviously see Jimmy sneaking him some more, just in the smaller cups, clearly thinking that if he uses a smaller cup, no one can see it, and just having to just turn in and drinking and putting it back, and just oblivious to the fact that he is not a rook. Baby is chilled out, just having a little bit of a goo-goo guy. Unless you lot actually start, regaling the tales of the last 67 sessions. Time will pass, you all chill. Dave doesn't push, Pearl just looks after Babby. Robert doesn't make an appearance, he's still in his room. And Jimmy will actually just fall back into finishing the meal, seeing that there's no one to no one's doing anything for him to jump on. He carries on doing the cooking. Maybe half an hour will pass, and Ruby will emerge from the bath, probably in far cleaner clothes than you've seen her, as she is given forcibly her tartan and tunics and such that have been nicely left waiting for her to return one day, even though it's been maybe about 6 months. And she comes out looking very much the different Ruby that you first met. And do you want to describe how you look after a wash and your hair done and clean clothes and your angelicness beaming through?
Robbie
walks out.
Which
Blonde there.
That's what happens when you know one of your character siblings after your actual sibling. You just get confused. Ruby probably actually looks considerably younger without the dirt caked into every crease that a face will make and adding lines where there are none. So while Ari was probably the only one being familiar with how humans age when the others aren't so much aware that she was basically an adult but barely, it's
you've just come of age, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just come of age, yeah.
So particularly Ari is hit with that's an actual child. But also now it's clean, the sort of the hair you assume it's clean, right? The hair that you could basically see was blonde, but beyond being essentially yellow in tone and probably quite pale, you've never really been able to gauge the colour. It is, some of you have seen her in radiant form. Sandria hasn't yet, I don't think, or in passing in battle because you kept flicking or whatever it's called. Blinking.
Yeah, flicking's better though.
Yeah. Flick out, flicking. Well, probably that.
Yeah, it is the colour of flax or a cornfield, and it's a lot shinier than human hair usually is. It's almost metallic. And the, what are they, candles or gas lamps? What are they?
Candles.
Yeah, it's the candlelight is actually, it is not the gleam that the poets say, it is actually a genuine gleam. But some of Ruby is still there, it's not the radiant pale skin. She still has that suntanned, slightly sunburnt in places look, because outdoors and the sun.
Yeah.
Farmlands, desert.
And it's that weird vibe when she stood next to her mum, where it's weird seeing her be taller than people because she's shorter than all of you. But even though she's taller than all these people, she's still clearly the baby.
There is a
even though
the
literal baby is there, and the hair is actually probably a lot shinier than the family remember, given that
stuff's happened.
The radiant bloodline only awoke in the realm of echoes and not before Ruby left home. So they were probably expecting flaxen blonde hair and not whatever this Rapunzel bullshit is.
Your mother actually thinks she's done a great job. She's taking credit for how well you look right now. I present to you Ruby. And she kind of walks off dead fit. And
Sandria just kind of leans and looks down the hallway.
Excuse me, Blondie, you're in way. I'm looking for my mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sapphire's just got a stare with mouth open, That's not Ruby.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Like,
but
well,
is Ruby
well,
not,
when-
is Ruby not porcelain doll pretty like that?
She should be, but she spends so much time
Yes,
outdoors that
yes.
she is a bit like suntan, sunburned.
But they see it more
So
when there's
you
less.
see it, you
mice
see it in the
twigs your
radiant
face.
form,
Yeah.
but now that there's like, it is more visible, but there's still that kind of the earth,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
the she was sent by the Celestials, the Radiants, the Heaven, whatever, but they left her
farm.
in the mud, and the mud said we're having that. So. It is, but when Ruby is presented, she gives an eye roll that Xandria would genuinely be proud of. Whether it's been some of Xandria's influence or whether that is just the influence of a teenager being within 6 feet of her mother. Some of one, some of the other.
The other. Yep. I reiterate, Xandria, just I don't want to see her.
Ruby again does the eye roll. That, yeah, all right, take the piss, kind of.
Mama Bear has forgotten all what's going on now, and is looking at Jimmy and the ale, and at Dave, who quickly looks across at Pearl and goes, "Give me the baby. Give me the fucking baby. Give me the baby now."
Quick, it's my defense.
Ruby follows her gaze and is like, "You started without me."
Dad said, "Don't you pin this on me. He took it without my permission, Megan. I would never." And he looks at you lot just to make sure you're all on the same page. No one's grassing him up. He's fine.
I'm not getting involved in a domestic.
She looks at Pearl. Pearl's just like shaking her head while drinking. She's had the same cup just having this week. Giving some more to Babby. Babby's like, "Hey."
What does it taste like, Katie? What does it taste like?
Funny, isn't it? Funny.
It's got an aroma.
Ask the teetotal guy
it's
how
got
the
an,
beer
uh,
tastes.
it's-
Great.
it's
Yeah.
got an
Hoppy.
aroma.
I wanna
It's got
know.
It's got an aroma of honey/syrup. It doesn't. You couldn't pick one out from the other, but it is just a mild ale. So it's got a creamy, not quite. Imagine Bailey's, but without the sweet. It's just got that textured feel, and then a little kick of ale at the back. I might be teetotal, but every man and his dog has tried to get me to drink everything. You must like this. Castle made
more-
4X and Foster's.
It was more the reason I was asking is because Ari's a snob, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it
You're
was
a king.
whether it was
You're a
going to
king.
be nice or not.
I love how you were like.
Yeah, do you remember what I
don't call me a
described when we
king.
first
I've got
arrived?
crap clothes. How does the ale taste?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
is,
do you remember
but
when I
he-
said that described
nice.
that like there's not a lot of money here, but there's an awful lot of resource and everything's good because it's literally fresh? We've had this discussion. This in Ravenholm would be sold for like a tenner a pint as like artisan craft beer. And...
Oh yeah, craft beer.
Yeah.
So,
Small batch.
as Mama Bear tips back up with Clean Ruby, she goes about, pushes Jimmy straight out of the way, slaps him upside of the head. He tries to scamper out of the way, but she reads him like a book. Just waits for him, whack. "I'll finish." She starts tying a penny back round, and the sleeves. She rolls the sleeves down, and then rolls the sleeves back up, and starts going to work on finishing the meal for what will be a late afternoon meal.
Mum,
Yeah. Yes.
should we not try and find something for Caspian to wear since he's left all his clothes in the wash?
Tushy, yes. Right. Jimmy, come back here. But you just finish up, or you get another clout. Ruby, sit down.
Ruby,
Get yourself
Ruby
an ale.
looks at Pearl and she's like, "Some of it might need to be taken out. I don't know if you've got enough. I don't know if you can make his clothes fit, but if anyone can, it's you."
I am assuming Tushy is their real name. I have a few tricks that I'd actually quite like to show you, Ruby. If Ma, you carry on with the meal. Me and Ruby will go deal with
Caspian.
Caspian. Phew, I'm glad. And passes, the baby is with Dave. Dave didn't take no for an answer. He dragged that baby out of that mother's arms. "Give me my shield."
I was going to say the baby usually, it doesn't matter. It's the closest adult with empty hands.
Yeah.
Might be Dave next time. Might be Jimmy. Might be Ari.
Well, baby were born while you were out and about. So, baby's chilling out with Grandad. You potter down with your sister Pearl. You get to Big Jimmy's room. Door's closed. A knocks on the door. Hello, Caspian?
Yeah.
I can help you with your... and you get a little sly grin from Ruby. With your tush?
It's all okay. The clothes
The fuck am I doing?
were fine. Even if Ariel have spare something in his pack, he's always got. There's not too much of a size difference between us.
Oh no! If you say,
I'm,
if you think Ari's gonna get away with it when you didn't, Pearl's a seamstress. It'll be all right.
I just need to borrow a pair of trousers off of Ari until my stuff's dry. Your mum took everything. Where's my pack?
If you're
He's like, is she taking? She's taking the bag. She's what? Who washes
everything.
all the clothes at once?
the bag's on the hook. It's in the hallway with all the coat rack. It's everything's put in its place. The swords have been wrapped up nicely, placed on there. The shoe rack. Your boots are there. They're in a queue to get washed. They don't put a lot of effort washing in boots and footwear and stuff because they live on a farm. We don't have to come in, but if you just put your hand on the door, I can do the rest. And then she gives you a little nudge, Ruby, and you can see she starts to sort of prepare herself for something.
Yep.
And she puts her
hand on the door.
Ruby's basically grinning because like anything from her family that she can take pride in, she's like, do I get to see now?
Pearl puts her hand on the door. Do you put your hand on the door, Kes?
Yeah.
It's almost like you're touching palms through the wood. And Pearl closes her eyes, Ruby, and you can see she's kind of like, oh, okay, across the shoulders, okay, all the long hair. Maybe we can do something with that. And okay. And as you're like, what am I doing? Your hair comes back gets like almost invisibly pulled back into a ponytail, and you feel something wrap around it and tie it, so you now have your long seaweed green ponytail. And you kind of, what's going on here? And as you kind of look to see who's doing this to your hair with your hand on the door, you notice you're in a white shirt that goes down to the wrists, just appeared out of nowhere. It is very similar to what Dave and Big Jimmy are wearing in that sort of style. You look down, you've got a kilt on, in the same tartan as what you've seen Ruby and her family pottering around in. Nothing on your feet, and you just feel a belt appear, and you are in very casual kilt shirt, a belt which would hold 2 loops are on either side of the belt, and you can, on the other side of the door, Ruby, you're like, oh, so he has 2 swords. I don't have the swords, but maybe that, and essentially muttering through what Kesfion is being dressed in. Is there anything you want? And she's still got her eyes closed. Is there anything we should add? And you're just staring at Ruby like, the fuck are you on about? If you could decorate your friend Tush with anything you wanted, Ruby, what would it be?
I just wanted him to have the tartan.
Does he have a favourite animal? Or flower, or colour, or...
Geckos.
Geckos?
What the fuck's a gecko?
The little water geckos.
You know exactly what a wee gecko is, or you will when you see them.
I do, but we don't have a whole ton of geckos up
in Scotland.
Yeah.
You'll have to describe it to me.
So Ruby will lean in and start whispering to Pearl, putting that kind of sibling understanding, like you've ever played like Articulate or something
I have
on the
not.
same team as a sibling, and you've got like that like psychic kind of, and also putting
Okay,
a little bit
like
of,
a scaled newt.
but blue, and like just continuing to describe them exactly.
Okay. What you notice about your belt buckle, Caspian, is it takes form, and the like pewter metal of it type thing takes the shape of not a bad likeness of a gecko / newt, with and there is like someone's dipped the metal in like a blue ink, so you kind of get a bit of blue, but it's not like a mastercrafted piece of jewelry. It's just.
And Ruby
She's
would
kind of
tell
gone,
her,
I've
like,
seen a kind of lizardy thing on a Celtic knot before. Well, yeah, sure, we'll put legs on it. There we go.
Exactly
That's
how
a...
Ruby described it.
and Ruby will also tell Pearl that Kess is of the sea as well.
I can feel it. Their hair is. It is like walking on the beach when I tied his hair back. She's still got her eyes closed and hand on the door. Maybe some seashells necklace.
You put me in a pucker shell necklace and I'm going to come down there, AD, I swear to everything that can listen.
I get a sense of coconuts.
I will. You will rue the day.
So, Ruby, seashells? Yay or nay?
Ruby will instead talk of driftwood and pebbles worn smooth by the sea that come, like when they start to wear in a way where a stripe of another colour will be seen, and at some point she'll probably get overexcited and start describing a cactus, because she'll remember that Cass is also from the desert, and then she'll get distracted by remembering how cool the plants were in the desert.
Okay.
And
Maybe just
very quickly she remembers, oh yeah, weird plant sister.
Okay. I think I can finish now. And you just feel a touch around your neck, and there is, when you get those, when you get like long beads and short beads, and you thread them through and make a pattern, and you get bits of driftwood. The wiring that's used is almost like when you strip bark to use, but it's more seaweed that's kind of been dried and somehow strengthened.
Like twisted. Yeah.
So it's been twisted and plaited, so it can be used as the thread. And there are, again, bits of wood that remind you of, they remind you of driftwood, but your of the sea is less of your personality and more the desert.
Yeah.
But at the bottom, where it joins, almost like you'd have a amulet, there is a bright pink flower with a blue centre, a cactus flower. And you don't feel the touch of Pearl's hand on the wall, or on the door anymore. And Ruby, you notice Pearl go, I didn't expect the flower. And then she kind of, you see her wobble a little bit. Oh, that's, well, Kesvion, are you decent? No? Hopefully it works.
No, yeah.
That'll do. And then she opens the door. And then Ruby, you see a little mini, well, a very tall Highlandery.
Ruby is all but like bobbing up and down and clapping, but she's like right next to Pearl, because if another wobble happens, Ruby could probably just like scoop Pearl right up, and she absolutely will.
If you haven't worked it out already, you have a similar wobble when you run out of magic.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I've been working on since, well, for a while now.
It's so good.
Yes, thank you. But yes, there we go. Kesvion Tush.
Summer breeze.
Sorry, my apologies. It's an accent thing, and she kind of just nudges Ruby.
There is again that giggle that Ruby has that sounds like a stream running through. Not literally, but there's that kind of tinkling quality to it that would be really grating.
As you laugh at Kesvion's expense, you hear a clattering of pots and pans, and you just hear your mother go, Jimmy! Just to get really loud. And then Dave goes, James! And you're like, shit. You just hear, I didn't mean to do it! And then you hear a load more clattering and the slamming of the door as Jimmy has bolted from the house. And before we find out why he's bolted from the house and how people react to, guessing a kill, we're going to have a quick break for a couple of reasons. I want a drink, and Ruby needs to break the speeding limit. So,
Time to break the
Please don't.
sound
but
barrier.
yes, please keep
Kids,
sticking
don't break
around.
the law.
It has been a very chilled first half, so if you're still with us, thank you very much. Apparently, there's 15 of you, you lunatics. But yeah, we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. Ruby's, I think, going to change location.
I am going to change location. I might not be able to make it in 15 minutes, but I'll do my best.
That's cool. That's cool. So we'll be back shortly. Can you leave your camera on while you drive?
I cannot.
It's fine. It's fine. So we'll be back shortly, kids. Please take care. Until then, do whatever you got to do. Enjoy a break. Shout. Bring more people here, and we'll see what's kicking off in the halfling in the halfling kitchen.
And now for an advert from our sponsor.
Literally.
Yeah, we've got GSCon happening. Did I mention GSCon at the start? I didn't, did I?
No, you didn't. Moving on. Go.
Watch this thing in the break. You should all be at Harris now, I think. We're back.
Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Always.
I mean,
Eddie.
Luke
No,
appears
okay.
to be Ruby.
That's
On my
because
screen.
Somebody's... Don't you dare point out that the stream's gone wappy. There's a reason Luke's Ruby. I'm just going to move some people around because...
I mean,
I don't know. I kind of want to be Kess for a change.
You're just
Well,
jealous
Sean
of my
was
kilt.
Andrea, so,
That was so true. So true. The only person who's in the right place is Ari.
And that's a first time for everything.
To be fair, if you ask me, Harry's always in the right place, don't you worry. Like a wizard, aren't you?
Always.
Exactly where you're meant to be.
Oh,
Indeed.
I'm dying.
Right, so welcome back to part 2. As you may have noticed, it's a pretty chill session today, so welcome if you're with us. If you're not with us, well, you can't hear me say that, so okay. Unless you're
I
listening
can't wait for
to
the
podcast.
Freaky Friday episode. I really can't.
You won't.
I can't wait for the Freaky Friday episode.
Cool.
I'm not changing bodies with any of you chuckle fox.
Oh, you don't get a choice.
Wizards, innit?
Wizards. No, I've already
There we
been soul bound to one of yous. No.
Right. Coconuts, let's do this. Ruby's come out smelling of roses and lavender and divineness and suntan. You've gone, but yeah, Ruby and Pearl went down the way to address Kesvion, who's come out looking like a local of the Tone
There can
Highlands.
be only one.
There can be only one. Oh, I never thought about that. Shit, should have slipped that in there. It's got a name
I was
tag
waiting
that
for
says
it, but I
Connor.
was.
You three hear the clattering and smashing of pots and pans, and Ma shouting Jimmy and Dad shouting James, and a bolting of Big Jimmy out the front door. You lot sat there, notice Jimmy is trying to sly another pint in his very nimble ninja ways, and just clatters into his father, who nearly drops the baby, but with umpteen years of skilled practice in catching flying babies. Because trust me,
Dad
that's how it
reflexes.
works. Dad reflexes. He's on one finger, his feet's in the air, and he's caught the baby. And a pint in his teeth. But there's obviously quite a reaction towards Jimmy, who is, you know, as big as he is, ain't tackling Ma and Pa at the same time. And he runs. 3, 2, 1, go. Ruby, what are you doing?
Ruby and Pearl look at each other, and then the door further down the corridor opens, and the other head appears, and we're all just looking at each
Robert
other and
looks
go,
out, what the fuck's
yeah,
going
we're all just looking at each other like, full name.
on? Yeah. We should stay back here, it's safer, says Robert. Do you move down, or are you staying out of the way?
No, Ruby will go back to see what's happening.
As you head down the corridor to the kitchen area, you can see there is clearly a mess. There's ale all over the floor. Your mum is straight on it, trying to mop it up with bits of toweling. Your dad's kuchikuing the grandkid. Just that they got a bit startled by the fact that, you know, everything went really loud, really quick. And just, you know, it's a mess. Sapphire, Harry, and Zandria are all just sat stone still with a drink, like, nobody move.
They can only see you as
Vision is
you move.
moved.
Yeah.
Their vision is based on movement.
Halflings are like T-Rexes.
Would the ale count as? I
Difficult
suppose
to
a
win.
liquid's a bit like water, isn't it?
Alright.
I'm sorry, that was the best phrase sentence ever.
Liquid's a bit like water, isn't it?
I mean, whatever you're saying at your meeting, mate, that's up to you.
Well, I just for like spell.
Go on, do it. Do some magic, you motherfucker.
I would like to use shape water if I'm allowed to.
Nearly rude number sessions over there.
I would like to do a little.
Do you do it because, are you doing it, Kelpie doing it, or Sorcerer doing it?
Yes.
I'm of the. I don't think I can Kelpie do it.
Alright, cool. So it must be a Sorcerer. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You didn't give me it, so I was under the
Yeah,
impression.
cool.
oh,
If it's not
sorcerer
there, so
now.
yeah, Sorcerer. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, then
I
describe to
chose
me-
stuff that would
Fit. Yeah. So
could
alright.
arguably be a little column A, little column B.
Describe to me how you imbue your draconic powers.
So I feel like he probably like comes like into the kitchen to see that all hell has somewhat broken loose.
You all see Tolan Highlander Caspian.
And kind of like does that thing, you know, when you want to help but you're not quite so you just kind of like stand near and just kind of reach out to try and do, but you're kind of at a bit of a loss, and all that kind of goes through his head is that really just needs to go back into the container.
Okay.
And like he's like, I can't, but like, you know, I think it came out of that. And sort of unintentionally begins to kind of shape, some might say, this water, to sort of draw the sort of liquid into kind of like sort of little rivulets that kind of stream back together and sort of run themselves up and start running themselves into kind of like, what was the thing that what was it in?
It was just there's the keg to the side, but he's clearly got enough in a tankard and then spilt a tankard. So there's a couple of pints worth of ale that that you moved.
So wait, the whatever it is that it clearly started flinging itself out of the original receptacle, it'll just kind of start like globuling its way back up, kind of inside, and he'll just kind of try and rewrite it when he kind of gets as far over to it.
So as Caspian just kind of casually, you know, thought process of that belongs in there. Can the other four of you give me a perception check, please?
Oh my god, I actually have to
We're
get
rolling a
some
dice.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You've got ring balls.
Oh, I rolled well.
I rolled a 3. Plus 7, so I guess a 10.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I forget you lot level. Are you not level?
Yeah. We're level 10 now, you haven't updated the overlay.
I know it's not.
I didn't even say anything because I was
I wasn't
going to
say anything. I was like, Adie's dealt with enough sorting this shit out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention it.
Oh jeez.
As always, Jade had no such qualms.
No. 24.
23.
Alright, so those of you that rolled very high, when
That's dramatic.
Caspian moves his hands over to the side, you hear almost like he's clearing his throat, but it's got quite a deep growl to it, and it's and
Do I understand it?
it is in Draconic.
Yes.
And,
I understand.
it's less words and more just
Rough.
noise. It's just a noise that, when manifested with arcane energies, creates magic. But yes, and it does sound like to the rest of it, he's just clearing his throat, but it's super deep. So yeah, the water's
Ariel
back
kind
in.
of side-eye him.
The halfling
because
family.
he's also done the same thing.
Halfling family don't bat an eyelid. Like, magic's magic. Like, they've got druids everywhere. There's, you know, they've got their own little things going on and stuff. Anyone doing anything?
Kind of watching.
Kind of pops it back up on the table, and kind of like glances around, and then just will kind of try and sit down and kind of be like, yes, like let's divert attention elsewhere. Look, that's been sorted. Pay no attention.
To the man behind the curtain.
To the man behind the curtain.
Zandria just looks at this happening, just raises an eyebrow. Weirder things have happened. Moving on.
Alright, so it has. Alright. So I have done them, but when you have exported and imported, it's taking it from the Streamlabs and not the thingy. Alright, cool.
Glorious.
That's fun.
So you don't care that your brother started casting magic? That's cool.
No, because Zandria can quite clearly see he's kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
I first got his head
There are
cocked.
words I can't think of the word. Shocked? No.
Yeah, so far just kind of head cocked, but like, this isn't the first time someone in the party has
It's-
surprised them
yeah.
with stuff.
It's something to unpack.
Later in private, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in that box.
Yeah.
Ruby
Put it in the box.
once saw Kess change his appearance.
Yeah.
As far as
This
she knows,
shit he
Kess
can do.
can do magic and chooses not to most of the time. So
This
the,
is true.
the magic doesn't overly surprise her because Kess
Neil's
has never
turned
said
into
one way or
dragons
the other whether or not
yesterday,
he can do
so-
magic. But
Cool. So as it's cleaned up and everyone is getting on with their thing, you see that Megan, Mama Bear, and Dave are. They immediately go back. Mum looks super embarrassed. Is very apologetic to everybody else. Dave is full coochie cooing the
Bobbin.
babby. Pearl comes and sits and takes a load off her mother. She starts carrying on with the cooking and such. The meal's pretty much like the food, this large, thick broth and stew and breads are brought, and Pearl just kind of ushers your mum to the side while she rights herself and is in mid, needs to do the hosting, but at the same time wants to kill Jimmy. And
this
Pearl-
is something that has happened before.
Many,
It will probably
many
happen
times.
again. So this is actually kind of like a practice dance in the family, whereas like Pearl shuffles her out of the way of the range, Ruby kind of shuffles her like into a seat between like Ari and Sapphire as like the two like most obvious guests. Like, here, Mum, sit, speak to the guests.
Yeah, exactly that. And you're overly
So
stunned,
she-
by the way.
Just like dwarfed is the word that we would use like in colloquial English, but you just like tower over her as she sort of like scooped into a chair between you, and like one of the mugs of ale is just like slid down from either David or if Robbie came to see what was going on. Like, it is a practice. Like, everyone just kind of like sets her right and like will summon Jimmy when the food is actually ready. He doesn't need to come back till then.
So, as the food is set out, plates are brought out. You know, they're very simplistic cutlery and just wooden plates and bowls and such. But this, like, very just large slab of wood that is rectangular-ish. It's got a kind of a curve to it, like a river curve. They're brought out. There's enough stools and barrels and boxes and crates for you all to sit around the table. Food is put out. It is fresh. It smells like you're in the bakery itself. The stews there, the meats, the vegetables, the stock that they've used. It is a wonderful, essentially, halfling carvery going on right now on this table. Baby is put in its own little chair, but there is nothing supporting the chair. It's just kind of hovering there, and it's in this little chair, and it's been buckled in with some twine, and the baby's just kind of laying there like head against. Like, this is cracking. Thanks. And Pearl will sit closest to it, Dave on the other side, and they'll obviously take turns in feeding Babby. And you begin to eat.
Before she sits down
Go
to
on.
eat, Ruby sticks her head out the door and gives one of those, I call it a dad whistle. I can't actually make the noise.
Yeah.
It's the one that kind of goes will whip, like the
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
They're one of those, like, and it's, you've all heard Ruby whistle. It's that same strong piercing line. You can hear it now echo off the other hills, like it's
Proper sheep herding whistle.
like it's
Love it.
meant to, and like every dog in like half a mile radius has gone, what?
That's fine.
Sapphire's ears flatten.
Give me a
But-
perception check, Ruby, as you stick your head out the door and whistle. And Luke, thanks for that. That's fine, mate. That's bang on. I just got confused. There's a lot of homebrew going on.
That's. Sorry, you said perception.
Yes, please.
That's another dirty 20.
Cool. Just down the lane, as it were, moving towards some of the houses to the west, you see Ozra and Jimmy and a Goliath, one of the mountain-born, a very, very large humanoid, very dark grey skin. Their hood is kind of pulled up. They are very they're the Goliath version of Big Jimmy. They are a very large, giant-blooded humanoid. and they're talking to Ozra, and Jimmy's just kind of like tennising backwards and forwards with his head, and there's a conversation going on between the two of them, and then you see Jimmy just go and point back, and whatever he's saying, he's pointing back towards you lot, and the large Goliath, Ozra, and Jimmy start making their way back towards your house, especially on the whistle as well.
Yeah, like if they turned at the whistle, it will have been followed by a shout of tea up. But then Ruby, unwilling to miss the tea that is up, will have, having done her, she's done a nice thing. She has let them know the food is ready. She's now fill food.
Oh, that gravy would be amazing.
Yeah.
Just gonna have a moment. Oh, there we go.
But yeah, she would probably definitely at some point slide a jar of what we would know as horseradish, which Cass would never had before, but one of those and one of mustard. They would probably like end up towards the siblings because Ruby's remembered spicy food. Summer breezes.
It's definitely a kick.
Yeah.
As you are eating and going about passing the condiments around and such, door opens, Jimmy pushes Ozra in first, and the large Goliath. I brought more guests, Mum. He's kind of looking around for you, Mum. Sit down, James, now. He just head down, walks in.
I'm scared, and
takes
that's
his
not my
place.
name and not me at the same time.
Oh God!
He sits down, like kind of nuzzles in between Sapphire and Dave, and just starts eating. He doesn't even look at Xandria, nothing. He does no like flex because he's picking up heavy spuds. He just gets his head down and starts munching.
Sapphire is now the buffer between Megan and James.
I hope you all know I now really want a roast dinner.
Yeah, I do
Good
too.
gravy.
Ozra, there was a space. Megan, don't forget nobody, and there was a space made for Ozra. She just assumed she'd return, and she did. Ozra kind of stops, looks at you all, and just puts a hand towards this large Goliath. He pulls his hood light away. He is as tall as Sapphire and broad, and just with Sapphire and this very large Goliath now in the kitchen area, it just feels smaller, but they're kind of like hunched down and they look.
There is no longer natural light in this kitchen.
No. Hello all. Ozra kind of just gestures. This is Wolfbearer, the brother of Owlbearer. I did forget the key description of there is a wolf pelt across this guy's shoulders. That very mild description. Other than being clearly a giant-blooded, the similarities of Owlbearer and Wolfbearer are, as close as they can be. Except Wolfbearer's hair is kind of just messy and akin to what Ruby's was a couple of hours ago, just messy and full of the road, as it were.
It's really nice to meet you.
You must be Sapphire. And he looks at Ozra for confirmation. Definitely Aristotle. You being the siblings, I would say yours, Andrea, your Kess, but not how Ozra described you. And Ruby. And your family. Hello, I'm Wolfbearer. I hail from the Pride Mountains. I hope everyone's well. Just kind of trying to be dead polite in this.
Ruby's like shuffling plates and like she has probably physically pushed at least one of her siblings or possibly Ari. She's not gone shove up. She's just slid her chair further along and like rearranging everything to make the extra plate setting, because I was joking earlier about like the carefully with the plates. It's like halflings know how to make room at a table. This is plate.
It's fine.
Yeah. Plates, side dishes, condiments, they just get like slid around the table. Sub siblings get like parted and shoved aside until there's room for someone to sit.
Wolfbearer, as best he can, sits by Ruby in the space she's made him. It's more like one knee on the floor and one cheek on the barrel.
Yeah, Ruby has more than once just sat on the floor.
Yeah.
In this kitchen for
You can see some a small bookmark dint in the wood where Ruby spent many a years going, I am way too big for your table. But Wolfbearer manages to sit kind of just out of the P's and Q's of it, that Ruby's clearly made a space for him. Ozra's sat at the other side near Pearl, and he just kind of hunkers down. He kind of carefully puts down his kit that he's got with him, like his bow and arrow and such, and he just places his pack and all this huge Juffin traveller's pack. He's kind of humped.
Make sure some of the food gets shoved in front of him, and with a wink to Sapphire, she'll say, "It's all freely given. Tuck in."
Because of the... And just... Wolfbearer starts to eat slowly. You look... As you're all tucking in and stuff, and you look, and you see Megan, mother of the Irwins, just looking at you all like her family just tripled. Like, she's like, wee bairns everywhere. Like, she's just absolutely blown away. She thinks it's Christmas. She thinks,
my mother, jeez.
I was going to say, Eileen, is that you?
Your mother as well, yeah, exactly.
Ruby hasn't gone to Blackpool and brought Rock back. She's brought the kids back. Like, this is a Lost Boys going on. Peter Pan's about to walk in.
But yeah, looking around, Ruby will just like aim at Pearl's direction while she's actually like looking for like where the mashed potatoes went or something. She'll just be like, "Your Darren shows up, we'll all have to go and eat in the garden."
Darren won't be joining us today. He's doing something, but I'll tell you about it later. And there's a bit of a smile on her face. As the afternoon progresses into the evening, you have the meal to talk or not talk. The small talk will be, they literally treat you as if you've been in their like you're on the family tree. Like, if you looked across, you wouldn't be surprised if you saw Jimmy painting your faces on the parchment on the wall that is the family tree of the Owens. They talk about just small talk farming, looking after the pigs. Some of the sows are preggers. They're getting ready for piglets and all sorts. There's just, they're planting stuff, they're sorting the animals out. Dipping gets mentioned a lot. There's a couple of eyes at Harry. Oh yeah, I read the chat in Facebook.
Hey you all.
But yeah, it's just farm life. They're just talking farm life. For Ruby, it doesn't jump out to her, but for the rest of you, the Draken are mentioned a lot. And it's am I pronouncing my own shit right? The Drydacker, sorry. The Drydacker gets mentioned a lot, and you click that it's their religion's the closest word you could associate to it, but it is definitely an ethos of their way of life and stuff. And they talk about ash and oak and willow and stuff like this quite a lot, and it's almost the way they talk about these different trees. It's kind of in the lingo of my oak, and like it's almost like when you collect Pokemon cards as a nipper or an adult, and you have that. Well, my Pikachu is better than your Pikachu type thing. It's fucking Pikachu, mate. But and there is, especially between Pearl and Jimmy, and now Robert's turned up. Robert's banter is very just waits for the moment and drops a one-liner. Jimmy just can't be silent. If someone's not talking, he's got to fill the silence. Pearl's a bit cleverer about it, and she'll lead Jimmy into tripping himself up, and then he'll argue with himself while everyone sits back and waits for Jimmy to catch up to the rest. But he's good at lifting heavy spuds, so they keep him round. And that will essentially be the afternoon into the evening. Like as the meals, as you are finished, as soon as the plate is empty, Megan's up, bless her. Dave's getting her to sit back down, and he'll move the stuff, and baby gets passed around the family, and at some point Harry will end up with an halfling baby in his hands and just be like, what the fuck is going on here? Sapphire will end up with an attack from a baby as the baby's just like pulling on his mane and like, oh my god, I could live here.
No, Ruby will actually sort of like gently untangle the little baby fists and take her niece back.
There's a full on like at one point baptized in nice it's gravy time. There's a bit where when Ruby's taking Babby away from Sapphire's mane's going as baby's like, go ahead, you're coming with me. Oh
no, just like strongest like.
Yeah.
Sapphire very much now anti-baby from now
There's a
on.
big on, like, you know, Santa's being going on. There's this baby won't let go of their mane. Ruby does her best on peels her little fingers and off you go. And that's it. It is the most wholesome fireside carvery / roast / farm lunch tea dinner that you could have. The ale is like, Jimmy is very encouraging of people should drink and be merry, and you know, it's an occasion, mother. This is a special occasion. Want to become famous? Always. So, no, you're dead to me. But yeah, and it will go on. And as the sun sets, I was about to say on the outside instead of the inside. As the sun sets and the candlelight becomes more prominent, and there is a from Minnesota. Oh, welcome all the way. There is just a calming. The sounds from outside kind of dim a bit. There's less birds chirping. You can still hear some of the like the cattle, the cows, and the pigs and stuff making the rummaging outside. You can now hear the chittering insect noises as the night time is descending upon this small village in the Toten Highlands. Let me see if this is too loud. Let me know, chat, if this is too loud for you. Plates are cleared, pots are moved away. Dave's up doing his bit, letting Mum chill out and relax as much as he tries. They've been together too long now. She knows when he wins and he knows when she wins, which is more than often than not. And they clear up, and the table is then redressed, as it were, or re-put out for some sweet breads and a more pudding-esque, just sweet dough, basically, is brought out to you that's had a bit of a flame run over it. And the tea is made, a nice herbally mint tea is made to kind of settle the stomach after such a heavy meal. And you have these sweet doughy desserts. And they're just living, it's Tuesday to them. They're like, cool, we made more spuds than we did yesterday because there's more people here. There's no reaction to your attire, your clearly not of the Highlands presence, anything like this. What have you been doing or not doing for the afternoon, the evening, going into the evening? What is your plan, guys? I could happily just sit here and monologue about the Toten Islands, but
At some point during the dinner, Ruby will have mentioned to Carl in the kind of like, oh, how sweet kind of way that she will just note that she gave Cass the family tartan, not the Friends of the Clans tartan, like we saw Nala wearing, and uses this to sort of like basically be like, haha, you're ours now.
we licked it, you mind.
Yeah.
Honored.
Andrea just looks at Ruby. You can have him.
We'll get some for you as well.
So I'm not trying to rush us away from your family, but what is our next? Where are we going after this? What's the plan?
Ozra kind of puts her hand up. Just, I know a lot's going on, but Wolfbear is heading home to send Owlbearer on, and I've chosen to go with him for now. So I will be parting ways, although it has been a pleasure meeting you all again. And new, and kind of gestures towards the family. She's dead respectful and thankful to the family.
She takes £150 of Druid to the chest. Full grapple check hug.
She hugs back. Not now. I'm sticking around for the sweetbreads. Wolfbear is just like,
He'll get a hug as well. Everyone gets a hug.
She's hugging mode.
There's a little bit of a hang on, and then the Wolfbear actually hugs you back.
Yeah. You hug people, people hug you back. That's how hugs work as far as Ruby's concerned. Maybe Xandria might give you the awkward pat on the head if she's not feeling murderous.
Give me an insight check on the hug. Scream it out. Pegasus! You better follow me, you fucking Tenku bloody real.
Hey,
Kenku rogue.
Peg.
19. Why
19.
these little
So
flower
when-
dice that Mal gave me?
When Wolfbearer
Doing
hugs
well.
you, he hugs you as a child, but not in a offensive way. Like he's not trying to.
It's
insult
because
you.
I'm the size of one compared to him.
No, like he's
It's-
hugging a child,
Okay.
like a father would hug a child.
Oh.
Dad hugs are best hugs. Ruby's not going to complain. Besides, she's aware of how young she is.
I suppose realistically we should all return to Ravenholm. We did somewhat dip out on quite an important event. I know we all didn't enjoy whatever the. Ari, I'm gonna say it again. Your people are
The worst.
Shit.
the worst. They are just the worst. They do all talk and no action.
I know. I'm aware.
But we still need to go back, and we do need to speak to the lords, and obviously we need to prepare for whatever the fuck demon invasion is going to invade. I suppose we should probably deal with a certain wizard or two. There's two technically we need to deal with now, right?
Too many.
Who's the second?
Well, we've got evil Ari's brother to deal
Yeah.
with,
Dickhead. Yeah, we know about
Yeah.
him.
and the one that caused the whole incident with the Copper Forest and the Blood Pillars.
Oh, wow. For some reason, my brain just assumed it
completely-
was all connected. Yeah. Okay.
For all we know, it could be connected. And then I suppose we need to. I imagine at this point, they've maybe put Ulrich in the wall. I don't know. I honestly lost track of dates and times
You've been
with
gone
all our
about
hopping around.
3 or 4, 5 days max.
5 days max.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
They
you're
still
unsure
may.
exactly.
They still may have put him in the wall for all we know. So I think
And,
that's our plan.
And our other lovely friend that was delightful wanted to also go in the wall. But yeah, they could well be in the wall by now. But we had stuff to deal with, and that was important.
So I think that is a plan. As much as I really, really do not want to go back to Ravenholm, for it is a shithole, we have kind of said that we would help.
And I've seen where you've all come from now, so that's pretty cool. In a way.
Plus, the Copper Forest is part of Ravenholm now. Yay! So I still have a job to do. Otherwise, I do not want to get on the wrong side of Malika.
Oh no, that is a good point actually.
Okay.
That's my plan.
So that's first port of call.
Well, it's hers. If we keep her alive, so.
It's true.
Okay.
Is there something wrong, Sapphire?
No, I'm just obviously when I was in Vey and got to talk to Catherine, Sasha, and Altarian, I was made aware that Ozra's sister. I didn't know who was a sister at the time, but was a problem and is involved with the Pale Order of whoever the hell they are. Like that lot, the Paladins.
Yeah,
And they also
demon
mentioned-
that we fought.
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, and I got to meet one of their leaders and one of their, I don't know what they are, goddesses? And I hate that my sister's involved with it all as well. So, yeah, I think Stefan's going to be one of my goals as soon as we can. Especially if, I've just lost Vey. If the demons are planning on heading for Viconia soon too, I would rather avoid that. I've lost my chunk of Vey at least. And I don't know who's there that can hold them back if the monastery was taken. So
You all notice that the Irwin family are all just gobs up with a pint in their hands. Even baby's like, what the fuck is going on here?
What are you lot smoking?
Zandria's like, oh, can I smoke?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, can I smoke? I'm just.
Yeah, if you do reach for the pipe, Ruby's going to catch your eye and just be like,
Okay.
Abort mission, eject,
Abort mission,
eject,
abort
seats.
mission.
No, 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 not in the kitchen.
There's,
No,
there's
okay.
a tree down road that I'll show you.
Not common practice in this land. Got you.
It is, but not in Megan Irwin's kitchen, it's not.
Right, got you. Got you.
You ever grow that, no?
The best things in all the land.
Yeah, Ruby kind of looks guiltily at her mum, and she's like, I did say I'd try to fill everyone in when we were all together, didn't I?
I was just giving you your time. But all this talk of walls and demons and demons and demons, maybe it's time that you should, tell your story.
Alright, well. Sorry, I had this open.
I love
on
how
the
Ruby's
other...
face went lit up because of the light of the computer.
I had this open on the other PC, but not on this one. So
What
sorry.
A rookie. What a rookie.
Sorry, I was trying to drive back and there was bully vans everywhere and it was the whole thing. Is that the right document? No.
He drove back safe.
Who's that, Luke?
Who's what?
The drawing.
That's the one.
Oh, the one in breaking the fourth wall is a little spicy Fenris from Dragon Age.
Fenris.
Got to have a broody elf.
Would you like
They
to-
are a staple.
Are you ready, Ruby?
I
Sandra
have found the document I was looking for, yes. Sorry about that. For ruining the immersion. Right, so Ruby will take a moment to think. And it's like one of those, see the cogs turning as she sort of like lines everything up. And she takes a deep breath and goes, well, so I started walking west that morning because town and the pub is east and I didn't, want to make things worse there. And I just sort of kept going really and through all these beautiful woods and grasslands. Now they're saying that isn't possible because between here and there is all fire and ice. And I did meet someone who had armor made of ice and fire later. And he said I wouldn't escape him again, but he kind of been chasing me very hard because I wasn't moving very fast. But anyway, eventually I got to the wall, right? This is the big wall at Ravenholm. And the guards there let me through, which Ari says isn't possible. And he should know because his family is the wall. And it just persists with rain there. And in the forest there was this lot, and I made them tea. Them and some undead reapers. Reapers of the undead, not reapers who are undead. And Alzra was with them, with the reapers.
She lives.
And I went with Dave for a while because I liked him, and we went to a big town. Was it called Lyric? And the weather there doesn't do what it should, and I've got no time for that. But in any case, we fought a vampire and a lunatic with some bears, and Kess gave something back to the realm of air. And the red lady, who didn't even know what Erin Tartan looked like, gave some haughty speech about nonsense. And then Ari needed to go back to the wall, so Kess tried to get horses, but he couldn't. And I saved the first oak who was hurt, and we went to the Fey Autumn, and it was being murdered, like literally the whole forest and everyone in it. There was a lost village there, so we brought them back. And then a dwarf tried to murder Sapphire because they thought he was his sister. And then, was it the spider? No, there was a spider. And then we went to the wall, and it is just so big. And then the demons came through, and there was a battle, and I tried I just tried to keep people alive, but we were pinned back. But then this lot came and got me, and we went under the wall, and there were geckos, and then we nearly died, and Sapphire nearly drowned Drea, and Ari and Kess promised their souls to the wall to free the dragon, and Ari's brother Stefan was suffering under some magic, and he got sent to the realm of echoes, so we went to fetch him back. And if you want to know about the realm of echoes, I'll start again in a minute, because that is just too much. And then there was another Stefan, and he murdered Drea, and he nearly killed me, but I woke up in the stars with a unicorn who asked stupid questions, and a gnome who I think was, I don't know, talking about whoever birthed me, but I had no time for that because the wrong Stefan was still trying to kill Ari and Sapphire and Kess. But he escaped, and he's sailing on Ravenholm, and our Stefan is stuck, and we had a friend called Crystal, and I miss her, but she had to go home, and sometimes I have wings now because we were wrong, and I'm not actually all the way human, and Sapphire went through a magic mirror and drank what the creature gave him. And I left my pet mouse with Stefan, and I miss him too. And then we came home, and Drea was resurrected. And frankly, I've been worrying about her ever since. And then at the palace, everyone was just so rude, and they sat around talking when they could have been working. But then the Archfey of Autumn, she's called Toodles, and she's our friend, and she's rebuilding the forest after the massacre. And I helped with the trees, and she helped us see all our respective families. And then a giant demon killed all of Sapphire's second family in Vey, and we went to the desert to help Kess and Drea's family with some other decent demons, and we found Asa again there. And there was a man in a dream, and he killed Zahar. May his soul find rest. And then he turned into a creature that tried to eat my mind, and then Cass cut me free from that, and we escaped the dream and went back to camp. But then Azra's sister murdered our other friend Owlbearer. May his soul also find rest. And I've been talking to the oak tree, but with everyone else's family in danger, I was worried.
Hey, fuck doing your recaps anymore.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
Because I was reading that, I was really worried I'd come back and this would all be frozen, it would go internet disconnected, and I would be like, no!
Well, that was fucking wonderful.
Clip it. Just play it at the beginning of each episode.
Quite
That's fine.
literally, Xandria was just like...
Shit, we've been through some shit.
Yeah, I think that's the look on Sapphire's face. It's just like wide-eyed, like, holy shit, we really have. This is only since
You
Ruby
just see,
joined us. Fuck.
You just see Harry scribbling off Bard off his character sheet. Well, that's a lovely story, Ruby. Tea? And your mum just kind of walked up to the and just, regardless of how full your cup is, begins to make you another tea. Dave,
We would just lean back and go, you haven't got any of Uncle Tom's special, have you?
oh, but I'm pretty sure we'll all be drinking it. Don't worry. Dave's just out with baby like, you all right, love?
Ruby takes it just like another deep, shaky breath, as she's just like, oh, we met Nala at the wall, and she told me that the baby had come, but I forgot to ask what the baby was called.
Oh, you met Nala?
Briefly.
Wolfbearer recognises the name but says nothing. Oh yeah, she was great. She spent a short amount of time here, doing what he couldn't. And Big Jimmy's like, I let her move all the heavy stuff because I didn't want her to feel weak in front of me. She's 8 foot, Jimmy. 8 foot. Jack, but it's the only time Pearl's actually got a bit animated. I still whooped her in that arm wrestle that none of you lot saw. And he just, like that's, the ultimate factual claim and no one can argue it.
Another one of those eye rolls, just like that Ruby and Xandria share with each other when the others are being all like, lads. It's just like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. You sent me the name of the baby, didn't you, Ruby?
I did.
Is it not you?
Not the first name. It's.
Do you know what it is?
I do, yeah, and it is literally in the family document I sent you earlier.
Already. Get shit
Yeah,
together.
there you go. Yeah, but I don't know how to pronounce it, and you sent me it phonetically. Athelia? Atherley? There you go. See, I totally know that. Oh yeah, totally. We called her Atherley Ruby.
Oh, you did what? But what was the middle name?
Jimmy. And she kind of just smiles at you. Jimmy makes a real weird face. She's called Atherley Ruby.
Ruby is like serious. Like you've seen her like absolutely bawl when things have gotten too much, but this is like proper speechless Ruby, and she just takes the baby off David and goes, well, I'm keeping it, it's got my name on it.
Well, have fun tonight. She's still really enjoying the moon. Loudly, with tears, and sometimes we do confuse her for Jimmy.
yeah, that's Ruby's done our fucking bed.
So Jimmy will be like, so when are you all going?
Back to the wall, isn't it? You said
Not where. When?
we should. Oh, just kind of like appeal to the rest of the party, wordlessly, just like thoughts, suggestions.
I mean,
Everything's settled here, and Ruby doesn't feel like anything's amiss, then we'll probably head in the morning, if that's okay.
Are you having the okay at Ruby or at Jimmy?
It's
Room at large, I
Yeah,
think.
the room at large. Okay, cool.
yeah,
That's
I
fine.
think it's kind of like with a glance to Ruby, but also aware that that's quite an imposition. The volume of people, regardless of how willing they are to feed them for dinner, he knows they are an ungainly large bunch in multiple senses.
He's also far too well brought up to just invite himself places. Don't let Zahar know I was a pain for somebody.
Well, as you're all very quiet, Megan will kind of lean in and go, "You're all very welcome to stay, but some of you will be outside." And looks at Jimmy. Yeah. Hang on.
Oh, is my little bower still in the garden?
We've not touched it. It's yours.
Well, a couple of them might fit on the floor in my room, and there's always the barn. That's always full.
I'm
At
sure
this right now, you see why Ruby has at every single tavern asked to sleep in the stable.
Yes. Wolf berries. I don't mind sleeping outside.
Mine camping, it's fine.
that gets a very like licks the face.
Yeah, gets a chuckle. That gets
Like,
a
it's
chuckle.
Feel like great.
mean-
I don't mind camping.
You can
Don't
have the
mind
bed, but we'll have to
camping.
fold you in half.
Yeah.
Harry slept in West.
Including face down in the desert sands.
Well, there's not a lot left of the evening. I've got to be up early. So have you. Nods at Jimmy. We still have work to do. Stop demon slaying.
Oh, our early and Ari's early is a bit different, so you need a hand in the morning.
No, Harry, you have experience early rising?
He's seen dawn, but not from the same side we have.
Dawn was lovely, and she's known him for years. It's the only Dawn Harry's seen. Well,
He's seen it. He's seen it when he stayed up.
well, I'll come and get you in the morning, Harry.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Ruby's grin has just turned straight up evil. Like there is no radiance in this smile. This is straight up concentrated.
Jimmy looks across at Andrea. Do you want me to get you in the morning?
Oh, bless you, I'll already be awake. Long before you.
I understand. He sits back. There we go. Good night. Well, I could keep making tea, but it's up to yourselves. It's getting a bit late, and she kind of looks outside. It's pitch black.
I think it's best we call it a night and get some shut eye, especially if you're going to be dragging Ari up.
You won't need dragging, will you, dear? Says Megan as she just pats you on the back. You need a wash, though.
Yeah.
We'll sort you out. You can have a session with Dave out on in yard, and then we'll wash you up before you get onto your demon slaying, dear.
We'll be going to slay demons with lots of sandwiches.
Yeah.
We'll be well fed.
Pat
Nothing else here.
lunches for days.
There's a good chance the family are in shock at the moment. They're just like, everything's fine.
I mean, it's been
Stick to things
working
you
for the
understand.
Sebs up till now,
Yeah.
surely. Yeah.
I mean,
Blinkers.
it's like Dave said,
And wave.
they're off to work.
Yeah.
Make a sandwich before they go to work.
There's your little brown bag. Everyone out of the bee. So, it progresses later into the evening. It is time to sleep for 8 hours or 4 if you're a fairy. And you are placed in the stable, at the barn, the yard. The rain isn't around anymore, but it's sticky warm. There's a freshness in the air that you can imagine the morning's probably going to be quite chilly, but the amount that's been going on through the day with people cooking and the forges and the bakeries and such, like nearby, it's just there's a bit of warmth in the air at the moment. Wolfbearer and Osra stay. They get a little almost campfire going in the yard with permission from Megan and Dave. It's very contained. And they kind of stay up and they're conversing into the night before they too get their winter rolls out and such and bed down for the night.
Ruby will have pointed out which door is her room in case anyone wants to camp inside.
There is a bed-ish, sort of, in Ruby's room that could probably fit someone on curled up a little bit on their side and head over there. Jimmy just stands at his door with it open, waits. Sandria doesn't walk down to his room. He just, I understand, and he goes in and closes the door behind himself, dead chuffed with his little self. Look, I've been that guy, alright? you let him have his day. He can't wait to tell his
I'll
mates.
kind of be like, Ruby, what am I going to be doing in the morning?
Whatever needs doing. I mean, it's dipping season, but everything's got to be fed. Everything's got to be watered.
Abby's like, I'm off for a swim.
If the weather changes, they
Harry doesn't
might
know any better.
They might need hay bringing in. Depends what the weather's going to do. So we'll see what the weather does in the morning. But a lot of animals to look after.
Why am I being volunteered for this?
You stay, you work.
Hilarious.
Oh, what, you think you're not working, Ken?
Oh, no.
You stay, you work.
I
We
Oh, but
expect to work.
Sapphire, maybe stay away from the livestock. I'm
what?
not sure if the sheep are just going to be
We've seen Madagascar.
freaked out by a lion.
Oh,
Like,
discrimination, is it? He says with a laugh. No, that's fine. If there's anything I can do, if it's just
with a
lifting
sheep
heavy
leg
stuff,
hanging out of his mouth.
yeah. if it's moving stuff around, or if you need someone to go somewhere fast, I guess I'm quite good at that.
Not as fast as he used to, but it's still going.
Not as fast as he used to be. Nope, the Leonin got released and we transferred him over.
Yeah. So, unless you have any whimsical nighttime chit chats you want to have, the evening will become sleepy time. The Irwin family will retire to where they normally retire. There is a sigh of joy that you all hear quite audibly from Megan. And Dave and Megan kind of almost down the aisle sort of walk, holding hands. He pulls her in for a little bit of a squidge, and then they disappear into their room. The rest of you are scattered around on the roof under the table. just keep me out of the goddamn midgie season. And it becomes a long rest.
Yay!
And we'll call the session there, as it is nearly 11 o'clock. So, that was, by far,
The most wholesome session we've
I've
ever
It really
had.
was.
Not we've ever had. I've ever. That was ridiculous. I don't think I've ever DM'd a carvery like roast dinner. That was new, so I did happy
I
about
really
that.
want a roast dinner now.
Yeah, me too.
Wash somebody in a bath. That was there. You know what I mean? I mean the squirrel thing is a given. That was cool. That was cool.
you let me build a Disney princess.
So, thanks for watching, guys. It wasn't as 100 miles an hour. I mean, you heard the recap from Ruby. They've definitely done stuff that was a bit more intense. But every now and then, adventurers just need a chill by the fire and a beer and a decent pork sandwich. So,
And a hug from Mum.
and a hug from Mum. No matter whose mum it is, just give me a fucking hug. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Dice of the Beholder, I know you're crying just because someone's mum hugged somebody. But please take care of yourselves. The next time we stream will be Thursday. which is us playing Carbon 2185. I'll be DMing for a different party, but it's Cyberpunk, 5e rule set-ish, and it's Cyberpunk. So if you're into that, tune in on Thursday. And then on Sunday, we've got Vampire the Masquerade, the first session, being dungeon mastered or story told by Dice of the Beholder, Rich himself, who'll be grabbing a load of the heavyweight lot and running them through their Vampire the Masquerade sessions. And myself and Emrys and Pegasus, god damn right you followed, will be off screen playing D&D, and the outcome of it will become very prevalent, very spotlighty.
Oh no, Serenity's going to influence our campaign. No.
Massively.
Serenity's going to open the door for the 3 lunatics to influence. Okay,
Yeah.
love you. So yes, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Other stuff. See you Thursday if you're around. If not, see you next week. For now, coconuts. So good night, players.
Good night, players.
See you later, folks. Bye bye. And a massive round of applause for Ruby. Yay.